I think what I want to say today is my fundamental belief that to move linked data projects from the technology department into the boardroom, for want of a better phrase, and to get the funding to do really scalable linked data projects, there are four real criteria, at least one of which needs to be satisfied. First of all, linked data projects need to cut the cost of publishing compared with alternatives. And I'll come back a little more later with some examples. Secondly, they need to demonstrably improve the value of the publication versus doing it using other mechanisms. Thirdly, they need to do something, resolve an issue more cheaply than you can resolve it by other mechanisms. So data integration, for example, breaking out those silos of information that might be on web pages, maybe in databases, and maybe in spreadsheets, and relating them all so they're all accessible. And finally, other agendas. So in the public sector, the government has a transparency agenda, and we'll talk a little more about that in a bit. And it's primarily looking to find ways to get better value from the machinery of government, from departments of state, and whether that's procurement costs or just through better operation. And it's the intrinsic benefits of having a transparent government that citizens can understand. And other sectors have similar drivers, albeit different. So in the academic learned journal market, for example, the drivers are towards open access publishing. Public sector funders fund a lot of research and don't want it to be available sometimes just through expensive peer-reviewed journals. What they want is open access for government-funded material. There are plenty of other examples of good business cases around linked data. You'll hear a bit more later, I think, today in the program about the Olympics, for example, the coverage of which wouldn't have been possible without linked data. And second of all, Paul Davidson, if any of you know him, his Local E-Government Standards Board has worked with TSO on a project to start linking up between local authorities what they plan to spend, what they're actually spending, what they're spending it on, and finding ways to help them procure more effectively. So who are we? TSO were privatised back in 1996. Prior to that, we were known as Her Majesty's Stationery Office. So if you're a frequent user, or historically a frequent user, of boring government bits of paper, then we were probably involved somewhere along the line. A lot of our bits of paper, whether it's Hansard, whether it's legislation, whether it's other parliamentary documents, for example, are very content-rich. There's lots of data in there. So moving to data was a natural progression for us. And for the last 5 years, that's moved further forward to semantic data in particular, and linked data. Why do we do it? Well, semantic technologies, they aid discovery. So people want to get higher search rankings, so the better the search engines understand your web page through RDF and so forth, then the higher your rankings will be. Linked data can add value to information products, and organograms is a great example of this, and we'll come back to it in a second. And third of all, I've talked a little about data integration, actually understanding what's residing in different data stores, whether they're databases or web pages, spreadsheets, or others. Is that flexibility? Okay. So semantic publishing, it's about pulling together data, capturing it, transforming it, and publishing it again. Once you've got it, you can do lots of things with it, and that's what it's all about. It's all about putting systems in place to do it, so you can do it and you can forget about it. You don't want to be reworking it on a bespoke basis every year. So organograms, for example, will come to publishers regularly. It's not something you want to rework all the time. Well, if people are going to invest time and money in building systems on your data, they need to know your data is reliable. They need to know it's accurate, it's up to date, it will continue to be there. There's no point doing a linked data project, putting it out there, and then leaving it. If people are going to get real value from it, they need to invest time, they need to invest resource, and therefore they need to know that they can rely on it.